Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Quite. Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have Doug Brignole back. He came out through the hot weather and the traffic just to see me, and
I'd go through everything for you.
trust me, it's warm today and there's a lot of traffic. The traffic today is like the worst. I went down to Venice Gold yesterday, as you guys know, because I posted some stuff, and it took me, what normally takes me a half hour, it took me an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Just to get down there.
Yeah, a little more than twice as long.
Yeah, and then once you're there, you got street traffic. Then when you go into the Gold's Gym parking lot, there's nowhere to park.
Right. And it's a big parking lot. But it's still full, yeah.
It's full. I put my hazards on. I wanted to pick up a couple of shirts and see somebody. And, of course, they weren't there at the moment, and they knew I was coming. So I found a handicap spot, and I took that, and then I ran into Rick Valente, and I said, I can't wait around. I'm going to leave a note. Went to the firehouse to eat, as I told you.
Yeah, right.
And then here comes Rick, I got your shirts for you. So he went and picked them up. In the meantime, the firehouse used to be a really popular place for a lot of guys to go eat. They had chicken breasts and egg whites and all the bodybuilding stuff with rice and
for a good price.
Angus, for a good price. And now I couldn't get out of there for under $32 for a chicken breast, eggs, blueberry multigrain pancakes, and iced tea at $32.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
It's $64 if it were two people.
But there's not. There's just
Right. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I mean, that's a lot of money.
I actually could have split it. There was enough food there to split between two people. There was 2 breasts, probably 6 eggs, and 3 huge pancakes. So yeah, I could have split it.
Oh, okay.
But it was definitely good. But that place has changed so much, as you said. I mean, I go into Gold's, and that's not what it used to be. I don't even know anybody there.
Right.
I used to run into everybody I knew, maybe 2 or 3 people now. The rest of them are all new faces, and it's a whole new ball game.
Well, that's inevitable. I mean, it's sad, of course, but it's inevitable. It's just nothing ever stays the same.
No, it's true. And they charge quite a bit for a daily, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how much you charge? $40.
Yeah, just to work out.
For one workout, for one person.
Stupid.
Yes, I paid that about 2 weeks ago when Mo was here visiting. Mm-hmm. We each paid $40 to work out there.
I have a VIP card, and I can use it anytime I want, and I probably should. But just to get down there, I'm worn out by the time I walk in the gym.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I don't care what the price is. I'm just too tired.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were talking about working back.
Yeah, you know, people. I see people in the gym working out all the time, and everyone tries. People try to get creative with their back exercises, and I just want to say that if you look at an anatomy chart, if you Google, back anatomy, musculature, you can see the lats, the middle trapezius, the erector spinae. Those 3 muscles that I just mentioned are the 3 primary muscles of the back.
Right.
Now there's a teres major, there's a teres minor, there's an infraspinatus. They are not major.
Right.
They're small muscles. The teres major basically does what the lat does, a small version of what the lat does. So if you're doing the lat, it's already getting work.
It's all good. Yeah, that's right.
The teres minor and the infraspinatus are rotator muscles. They don't actually row or do anything with pull downs. They're just rotator muscles. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what do those 3 muscles do? What is the primary movement that those muscles do, so that you can get the full dose of the exercise and not dilute it by doing some non-specific movement?
Makes sense to me.
The lats pull the arm down. The middle trapezius pull the shoulders back, do not pull on the arms at all.
Right.
They don't connect to the arms. And the erector spinae arches the back. So those 3 movements are the purest movements you should be doing for back. I do 3 exercises, only 3 exercises for the back muscles. And I think you're going to be posting some pictures that I provided you from this last Mr. Universe contest that I won this past November. Those are the 3 exercises that I do. I do not do chin-ups. I do not do pull-ups, pull-downs. I don't do any kind of standard rowing exercise. No one-arm dumbbell rowing, no bent-over barbell rowing, no rowing machines. I do 3 movements. I do a one-arm lat pull in, which means I start from an angle that's 30 degrees up and about 40 degrees between the front and the side, and I pull my elbow down to my hip bone.
I've done that. I like that.
And I do that one arm at a time. If you pull your arm back, you've diluted it, because the lats don't pull your arm back. The lats pull your arm inward toward the spine. As soon as you go behind your back, you've engaged the rear deltoid, and you're not trying to get rear deltoid. You got to go straight down to the hip bone and only straight down. And then you do the other arm. Of course, you can try both arms at the same time, but you'll notice that you can't get as good a contracting on each one.
How you can do it at the same time? You only got one handle.
No, you can get a pulley that's double adjustable height and width.
Yeah.
So you put one pulley over there, one pulley over there.
Well, yeah, but that's hard to find.
And then but if you're doing just a single pulley, You can just do one arm, and then you rotate your chair, you know, and then you do the other arm.
You know who had double pulleys like that was Joe Gold, and they were adjustable from the top to the middle to the bottom, but you don't see those in the
but free motion is the most popular, most commonly seen double adjustable pulley. There's a couple of other machines. Hoist makes one, I believe. Maybe Nautilus makes one, but free motion is the most common.
Yeah,
we have one on our website, but it's really versatile. You can do anything you want on that machine because you can adjust the pulleys any way you want. That is the single best lat exercise you can do. You can go as heavy as you want. Yeah. When someone says, "Oh, but you know, chin-ups with weight," no, you can go as heavy as 4 reps will allow you to get.
Well, years ago I used to do chin-ups and superset with bench press, and because they were opposing muscle groups, I got a great pump.
Yeah, well, no, it's always good to do opposing muscles. Yeah. But the lat exercise is a one-arm pull-in, the best inner back exercise. If you look at a picture of any of the top bodybuilders and you look closely at the musculature that's there, you'll see that the biggest muscle of the back, other than the lats, is this big middle trapezius.
Sure.
And that thing starts on the spine and it goes out to the outer edge of the scapula, the shoulder blade, and its job is to pull the shoulders back.
Right.
That's all it does. It does not cross the shoulder joint.
So what do you do?
It does not pull on the arms. So same pulley, same width, just lower, and then you just squeeze the shoulder blades together and out. You can pull the arms back just a tiny bit, but it should be 90% scapular. Shoulders forward, shoulders back. Shoulders forward, shoulders back. That is exclusively. So when you're doing a rowing exercise, if you're incidentally pulling the shoulders back and forward, you're getting some of that movement. But you're also getting a lot of rear deltoid in the rowing part of the movement.
Yeah, of course you are.
And you're not in the rowing part of the movement, the arm part of that movement isn't hitting that middle trapezius at all. Because you might as well just do what the middle trapezius does, which is mostly that scapular work, right? And the last one is the erector spinae, which is the muscles that run up the columns, the side of your spine.
Right.
Right? So those thick columns, right? You know, people do hyperextensions, they do deadlifts, they do all these things. That's all isometric. You know, your back is meant to move, right? You wouldn't work your bicep like this. Now, the reason I give you this analogy is because if you'll notice, my bicep is isometrically tensed. And if I go like this with a weight, I'm moving a separate joint that isn't the primary bicep function. This is the primary. So if you're doing this, that is the equivalent of you doing a deadlift or a hyperextension with the belief that you're working your erector spinae. The muscle that's crossing the hip joint, which are the hip flexor, the hip extensor muscles, the glutes, the adductors, the hamstrings, they're the ones that are making you go up and down, same on deadlift. The erector spinae are just being used to maintain your spine in that rigid position. Yeah. But isometric is not as good a developer of muscle as dynamic movement, extension, and contraction.
Of course.
So you're better off either doing a seated version of, you wouldn't do it upright, of course. You'd get your torso to be horizontal, and then you'd arch like this. The way I do it is I go up against the wall, I put my tailbone, my butt up against the wall, with my feet slightly out in front, and then you can hold a plate if you want, and just let your torso go horizontal, and then arch your back mid-spine, like that, and that'll work the entire column on both sides of your spine, and you'll get those nice thick columns without having to load your discs with 300 pounds on a deadlift.
I had no idea.
Those are the 3 movements.
What about working traps? Is that all part of it?
Well, the trapezius has more. It shouldn't be called one muscle. It is. I mean, the trapezius do this, the trapezius do this, and the trapezius pull the shoulders downward.
So indirectly, it's all going to get worked.
Well, no. You get the downward with the one arm pull in. You get the middle with the scapular retraction. But you don't get the upper unless you actually shrug.
I see.
So that I do that one on shoulder day.
Yeah.
But it's an entirely different movement. It is an up and down movement instead of a back movement.
Gotcha.
Right? But it's still the same muscle. So that's an unusual muscle because it's fan-shaped.
Do you think it gets work by doing side laterals?
Hardly at all.
No?
Hardly at all. I mean, when you lift up like this, yes, you're pulling the shoulder up a little bit, but the amount of load that you're going to get with the weight of a side lateral doesn't compare to the 60, 70, 80 pounds of downward pull you get either with cables, I use them with cables, or with dumbbells.
You know, I started doing them because my leg was injured. I couldn't stand up straight, so I would do those with 30-pound dumbbells. Very, very light.
Yeah, right.
But I got a pump and I got sore.
Yeah. Now, one way that you can vary that shrug is if you can take a bench that has a backrest like this, and tip it back so that it's a very, very slight incline. Not a 45 degree, but maybe like, maybe like if this is 90, you're talking about an 80 degree angle or a 75 degree angle, and then with a pair of dumbbells, just plop your chest on there for chest support, and from that very slight angle, you can pull your shoulders up in a slight backward direction.
I've done
so you
that.
can get your trapeze just a little bit lower.
I've done that. Yeah, it works pretty good.
That's a good angle, but it's hard to maintain your torso in that position without some chest support.
No, you have to have the chest support.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of exercise face down like that, even tricep kickbacks.
Yeah.
I did them that way.
Yeah.
Or rear delts, I used to do them like
Right.
that. The bench supported me.
But you see people doing so many different kinds of, they do a one arm pull down, they do a one arm dumbbell row, they do all kinds of things, and all of those are inferior, lesser versions of those three movements that I just. So the interesting thing is you can look at someone who's done the conventional exercises on stage and say they've got a very good back. And I'm not saying those exercises don't work. The evidence is they do work.
Yeah.
But they work with a lesser percentage of good. In other words, if you want to just work with less effort but get the same amount of benefit, just do the purest movement instead of the diluted version.
Yep. How many sets?
Well, that's a good question. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on your goal. Depends on your current level. It depends on how much time you have. Depends on the frequency of your workouts.
All right, overall, let's just say you're going to do that.
Look, I typically do 10 to 12 sets of every muscle group. That's on average what I do.
Oh, so you're dividing three exercises into 12 sets.
I do 10 sets of one-arm pull-in, 10 sets of scapular retractions, and 10 sets of...
That's
I don't do 10 sets of erector spine. I usually do about 6.
Okay, well, that's more than 12 sets.
Oh, for total workout?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who cares? I mean, it's like, you can choose to do one body part a day if you want.
No, because I asked you said 12 sets.
Well, I'm saying per body part.
To me,
Per
that would
muscle.
be 3 exercises, 4 sets each.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Yeah, have you done it?
Well, if my goal isn't lofty, sure. If my goal isn't lofty, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah. It's not for me.
Well, and that's what I say to people. It's like, when someone says, how many sets should I do? It's like, depends on your goal.
Well, let me put it this way. You know that I've been there and done that, so I have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot of physical problems, up and down once in a while. And for me to go in the gym now, I do what works for me.
Yeah.
For a lot of you older guys out there, you do what works for you. So I found that a lot of the machines that I do at a medium to a light weight with full concentration on every rep, I can make progress and get hard and stay in good shape.
You can get hard?
I'm getting hard just now, just looking at
Oh
it.
my.
It keeps me in shape. It doesn't take a whole lot.
Well, it depends on a lot of factors, obviously, right? If you were 30 years younger, you would probably think that wasn't enough.
It wouldn't be enough.
Right, but at this stage right now, it's plenty. So we all have to take all of our things into consideration.
Yeah, I know.
And do what works for us at the moment. I'm not where I used to be when I was 20 or 30 either, right? But at 60 years old now, and because I train really smart training 365, because I train really smart now in terms of making sure that everything is biomechanically perfect, I can train very, very heavy, meaning I can use a weight that limits me to 4 to 6 reps if I want, or 8 reps or 10 reps. I still can't do quite as many sets as I used to be able to do, but the good news is that I still get pretty good results.
You get great results. The thing is, you get to the point, how old are you?
60.
Okay, so I've got you beat by 15 years.
Wow.
And the past 5 years have changed.
Yeah.
My body responds, but it's in a constant state of pain.
Yeah.
And when I work out, I do several reps, and then the muscles start to hurt really bad.
Yeah.
But they don't get sore the next day.
Right.
But I know that they're being worked. I may not get the pump that I get, but I actually get the sets and reps that seems like they're fulfilling my need.
And you get your circulation, you get your joint movement.
Right. As long as you can keep somewhat shape, you look good in your clothes, your body's okay. I don't need to be 240 pounds.
Right.
I think I'm like 212, which is fine.
Right. No, you have to adjust your goals as we go through life. We have to adjust our goals and maybe change direction slightly.
It's so difficult. It's not an ego thing, but nobody wants to get old.
Right.
And nobody wants to age, and nobody wants to get worse off. But even when you think you've got it made and you think everything is perfect, something happens.
Right.
And if it's not my knee, it's my hip. If it's not my hip, it's my lower back. If it's not my lower back, it's my shoulders. And I never thought the day would come where I would say, I'm falling apart. Like all the threads are breaking.
Yeah.
But you still go and you work out and you try to do the best you can for what you have. And then, of course, your nutrition's a big key to it. So I try to eat a lot of Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Just brought me a whole box of Girl Scout cookies. And so, no, I do eat right, and I do try to do the right thing, because I'd say 90% of the guys my age don't even look at the gym.
Right.
You know, they don't even want to go.
Right. You know, I will say that I've had a lot of people send me emails after they bought my book, and they said that they had not been able to train because of shoulder injuries or back injuries or whatever, and they started using these exercises that I explained in my book, and they said, you know, hallelujah, right? All of a sudden they're able to work out again, and you know, they wish they discovered this stuff years ago.
I honestly hear that from everybody who reads your book.
Yeah, it's, you know, I have to tell you, it's so surprising. This stuff is so logical that it's just amazing that other people have not come forward and said, hey, by the way, this muscle doesn't connect to that.
But the general public's not logical.
Well, the general public, to their credit, they're not expecting to be the experts. They're expecting to go to someone who is the expert.
Right.
And they go to someone who they make the assumption is the expert.
But they're not.
You know, let's say, you know, a name bodybuilder, right? And name bodybuilders aren't necessarily anatomists.
No.
They aren't necessarily, you know, orthopedic surgeons. They don't necessarily know where muscles tie in. They're not necessarily engineers. They don't know the physics, right? They were schooled by people like them who came before, right? So I don't want to say it's the blind leading the blind, but to some degree it's the misinformed who are slightly informed, leading, you know, the people with their, you know, compromised information.
There's a saying for that. It's called a know-it-all who is sometimes right.
Or it's like it's a little knowledge is dangerous.
Yes, yes. Yeah. But if you are logical and you think logically how to train, you're going to get good results.
Yeah.
And I also found where I used to do 2 body parts a day, which is fine at the time. By the time I finish one now, I don't want to do a second one.
Oh.
I leave. I come back the next day and do another body part. So I'm doing 1 body part a day.
What if you do like 1 body part in the morning, 1 body part in the evening?
Nope. What would be the point?
I'll tell you what the point is. The point is that we have about 10 to 12 primary muscle groups.
Yeah.
And so if you do 1 per day, that means it'll take you 10 to 12 days to do each body part 1 time. And the cycle usually lasts about 8 days. In other words, you got to hit a body part again, it lasts about 5 days. So that means you have to hit a body part twice every 10 days or so in order to keep progress happening. Otherwise, you adapt up and then you adapt down. You adapt up and you adapt down. For ideal results. It doesn't mean that you're not...
I don't know. I say I hit chest on Monday, I might hit it again on Friday. You know, I might do it twice that week. But I don't feel like hitting it twice a day. And what the point? I have to go back to the gym in the afternoon?
Well, it's cumbersome.
I mean, I'm not a competitive bodybuilder. I have work to do.
Right.
My afternoons are busy. For me to go back in the gym and work out would be senseless.
Yeah, and I say that in my book, that we all have to determine what our schedule can be.
Yeah, I mean,
given our life.
I'm not going to compete. I don't care who I show off to. It doesn't matter to me at all. I just want to feel good. And once in the gym during the day, I'm ready to leave and I go back.
You remember in the old school days, the early Gold's Gym days, they used to do 3 times a week each body part.
Sure, Steve Reeves and all those guys did.
They did the first half on Monday, the second half on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 days a week.
That's because the gym was only open 3 days a week.
No, that's 6 days.
No, for men back in the day.
Yeah.
It was 3 days a week. The other 2 days were for women.
Yeah, that's the way Bill Pearl's gym was.
You had no choice.
Yeah.
But then when I started training at Gold's in Venice, I started doing 2 body parts a day. Like chest and back, and then Tuesday would be shoulders and arms, and Wednesday would be legs, and Thursday off.
But you know that documentary that Mark Martinez is making about Gold's Gym. In there, you know, he's got people that are saying, you know, we used to work out 6 days a week, and all we did was work out, sun, sleep.
That was it.
Eat.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'd go to the gym, I'd lay in the sun, I'd go to eat, and then I'd go to an audition and come back and just relax and go wrestle that night, and the next morning the same routine all over again.
And some of those guys were on contract with Weider.
Yep.
And so they just had, you know, their paycheck coming in, and they had
they had nothing else to do but that. And it was at the beach, you get lazy, you lay in the sun, and you come off the beach, you're tired.
So if you do 2 workouts a day, it's like you just take a nap in between.
Yeah, well, the second workout usually was going back and do abs and calves.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything major.
Yeah.
But in the mornings we'd superset chest and back, and that was a good alternative. And then shoulders, we'd up the line presses, down the line presses, side laterals, and then since we're on shoulders, we do arms.
Yeah.
And then you're done with that. You don't have to go back and have effort. And the legs by themselves. So it's pretty much covered.
But we usually used to work a body part once every other day. Right? So you skip a day, but one day of rest in between workouts for a muscle group is not enough. I would say you need at least 2 days and possibly 3 or 4 days if you work that body part with some serious intensity.
Well, I think you need that as you get older, for sure. I know I do. I need that time.
I mean, you can work every single day if you don't use much intensity.
Yeah.
Right, but you're not going to grow that way. You need to stimulate it and then rest it.
And then I'm not going to grow at my age anyway. Someone says, "Do you still want to grow?" I said, "No, I don't want to grow. I just want to stay in hard shape."
But we're not here to give advice only to you.
No, but there's a lot of older guys.
Yeah. And that is the message, is we have to tailor it.
A lot of the older guys are my age or younger, and I'm using myself as an example. If you want to stay in shape, you don't have to do it every day. You can take days off and rest. Your body needs the rest. And you do it moderately, and you'll get the results you want. You're not going to compete. So what's the point? You don't want to kill your joints with heavy weight, so what's the point? It's a
balance. It's a balance act.
It's a balance, like everything else in life. You balance your checkbook.
You have to sleep enough. You have to eat enough.
Yep. I think the as you get older, your interest just goes out the window for something else.
And I mean, because we've been in the game for a long time, many of the guys that were competing in the 80s or 70s quit training altogether.
Oh, entirely.
They moved on.
Ken Waller's one. He doesn't train anymore.
Well, they moved on. They got a family. They got a full-time job. They changed directions entirely, and maybe they ride a stationary bike. If that.
I know a few of them. And people say, "Well, how come these guys quit training? They were in such great shape because they got older and it didn't matter anymore."
Yeah.
There was nothing to do. There's no competition. You're not out in front of the public. What does it really mean anymore? You've got other things in life, and you want to make some money for sure. And if you're in the gym all the time, let me tell you this: the guys back in the day until this day that are in the gym all day long with their water bottles are flat broke.
Yeah, right.
Between the drugs and the food and working out, they have no money.
And like people like Boyer Co. I think he's in insurance. And what's his name? Pat Nevey. He was a car dealer. He has his own car dealerships, right? So these guys had businesses completely apart from their working out.
Yeah.
So they could devote their energies to that, and of course Boyer Co. still maintain a fantastic condition.
Yeah, but if you're married and you have a family, your kids want you to do stuff and go to Disneyland and take them out, you just say, okay, you can't say, "Oh, but I got to go to the gym," because they're going to. And
even if you have grandkids, even more responsibility and more duties to attend.
I found nowadays, and I'm speaking of myself again because I can only relate to me, is when things come up with family and things I have to do and I have to skip the gym, I say, "Well, I'll just skip the gym." Where years ago I would never do that.
Right.
I'd make a point of going, but now it's like a doctor's appointment. I don't think I can get there in time. I'm just going to go to the doctor, forget the gym.
Right.
Or I'll try to go earlier to the gym, then go to the doctor.
Yeah, priorities change.
Yeah, they definitely change. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Now, your book is out.
My book is not in print form yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're expecting. I almost hate to say, because it's been moved forward so many times. My publisher sent me an email this morning, and he's hoping that it'll be out in like August or September, in print form. But it's available as a PDF right now.
Right.
And some people prefer the PDF.
Right.
It's $50. PayPal. dbfitness@aol.com.
Right.
And then we've got the trainer certification.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
And so that's fantastic. If you're a trainer and you want to get certified and you want to learn biomechanics and how to maximize your efforts, minimize your risk, minimize your wasted effort, you can get the course, and you can get CEC credit for National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Right.
And also for International Sports Sciences Association, and also for CanFit Pro, which is a Canadian organization. So it's a win-win.
The thing is that, and I agree with you on that, somebody wrote in and they said, "Well, what do I need to pay to get a trainer certificate for? I can just go train people for free," because you don't know anything. It is a travesty that it is so easy to become a trainer.
It's harder to become a hairstylist or a massage therapist. You have to have a license, and you have to take 1,200 hours of an accredited course in order to get your license. But to be a trainer, all you have to do is get one client who's willing to pay you.
Yeah, but most of the trainers, they need to be certified. The gym won't hire them unless they are. They have to have a course. They have to have knowledge, or they don't get hired. If you train on your own in people's houses, it doesn't matter because no one's going to ask you.
Well, and I hate to say this, but some gyms don't care as long as you're insured.
Yeah.
As long as they're not on the hook for it.
Yeah.
And when I see people doing things that are so either potentially injurious or a complete waste of time. Like, for example, I saw a guy today, trainer, having his client holding a 35-pound dumbbell in each hand, doing side bends. Now, you would think logic would dictate that this is just a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
The idea of a side bend is that you make that side heavy, so this muscle has to work. And then you change the dumbbell to this, right? So the idea that you would use the same weight on both sides counterbalances you. In other words, this weight helps me pull that weight up.
Exactly.
Right?
But the only thing is that when you do that, all it's going to do is make your obliques bigger.
Well,
and it makes your waist wider.
If you you could make that argument if you were using the correct direction of resistance, which this isn't, and you're using a lot of weight. You could theoretically make that argument, but I'm talking about the fact that he's neutralizing it. He's getting no resistance.
I know what you're saying. I just think it's a worthless exercise.
What he is getting is spinal compression.
Yeah.
Right? And movement with spinal. That would be like taking a barbell on your spine and leaning sideways. Can you imagine you got compression of your intervertebral disc, and at the same time you're doing this with your discs?
Yep.
And literally you're squeezing them out of the sides.
You're destroying your back.
And encouraging a herniation. So it's really, really a fool. And this is what happens when you don't understand biomechanics.
Yeah.
It's just so necessary that people know what they're doing, even if the gym doesn't require that you know it.
You gotta know.
For your self-esteem and for professionalism, if you want to be effective, if you want to do what is best for the client, both in terms of keeping that client safe and getting the most benefit, you really do need to know what you're doing, how this stuff works, how physics affects weight training.
You don't teach English if you don't speak English.
There you go. Exactly right.
Thank you, Doug, for being here today. Thank you guys for watching.
Always. Thank you.
It's always educational and fun. We may not agree on everything, but who does?
That's right. And the disagreement, it makes for interesting conversation.
Well, same with a relationship.
Well, I don't know about that.
No. I always like to disagree in relationships because we agree to disagree.
And it makes interesting conversation compelling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
watching, and don't forget to order Doug's book. Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code DRASIN12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com. Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interests as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.